I have been in a very interesting space recently, and what's been going on has been this is ever since that day. I think it was like 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago now. Just realizing that I need to take so much more time to myself than I ever have in my life, and focusing my awareness on that specifically. Um, in the past, I've cultivated what I would argue to be bad habits of mindlessly scrolling. And this mindless stuff is not just scrolling. It can be doing two things at once. It can be here's what I'm looking at. When you are used to chaos, you seek and create chaos, right? And so if there's not noise, noise needs to be made because that's what the person is used to. And it's just very interesting because like I'm realizing like all these times now, um, there are specific ways that I've done things, right? If I'm eating food, I usually watch something while I'm eating. But what about the experience of eating food just solely by itself, right? It's very interesting because the experience of eating food, right? When you do it by itself, and not only do it by itself, but actually take your time doing it, right? You appreciate each bite, right? You actually slowly bite into, right? It's just you're present with the experience of eating, the flavor of whatever it is that you're eating. When you're completely present with that, you're more attuned to what it is, right? If what you're doing is eating and watching something, your awareness is split between two different things, right? So you're not entirely, focused on whatever it is that you're eating, right? Your awareness is with the food, but at the same time with what you're watching, right? And it's just so interesting because, and oftentimes, right, when somebody's hungry, like really hungry, they just shovel food down, right? But what they don't do, oftentimes, is actually just like be with the food and slowly take it in and appreciate it and everything. Something that I've been experiencing over the past few days is a sensation of fasting, right? Fasting specifically from food, taking longer periods of time away from food, which is important. And a lot of people try to avoid that, which is very interesting because there are uncomfortable feelings that come with fasting, right? Um, but for a majority of time, whenever people are eating, they're just trying to get rid of a feeling of hunger. And when I look at that, it's very interesting because it's like, but there's this whole experience to be had of eating, of consuming food, right? It's so interesting. And so one of the most important things that I've learned about myself over the past like 4 or 5 days now is that I need to take more time to myself than I ever have in my life. Um, and I need to really just like sit with myself, like in silence, just in absolute silence. Like and the other thing that I'm realizing too is like, it's like you want to listen to music, just listen to music. Don't do it while you're walking. Just listen to music. You want to walk? Just walk. Just pay attention to the sensations of what it's like to walk. Be aware of your feet and what they feel like when they're, touching the ground and everything. Um, this is much more of a matter of um, kind of getting away from chaos and multiple things happening at the same time, and much more of a matter of grounding back into my body and being aware of my body and being comfortable with my body. It's interesting too because I remember when I first started thinking about this kind of thing, and it goes back to this idea of waiting, right? A lot of people are waiting for things to happen, right? But when you come at it from the standpoint of like say for instance, here's a good way to look at it. You're waiting in line, right? Maybe you're in a, I don't know, a convenience store or something like that. You're waiting in line, right? Waiting suggests that it's not here yet. But as you are in line, and if you take it and, the concept is waiting, right? And you move it and you just be, right? You're not waiting for anything, right? Um, you're just present with yourself and with your body. You're getting yourself out of the conditioned mind with all the narratives and all of that stuff, and you're just being, bringing your awareness from your mind and all the noise in your mind down into the body. And you're just being. There's an entire experience, profound experience that comes with that. And it's so interesting. It really is. It's an incredible thing. So this is something that I've been thinking about over the past, few days now. And I've been on this, you know, I've been on this thing of, what is it, overstimulation, right? I've been on this thing of overstimulation for a while now. And I'm realizing, familiarity, overstimulation, from what I'm understanding, has so much more to do with chaos than I think I previously knew before. It has so much more to do with chaos because it's a matter of, listen, we seek out what it is that we're familiar with. So if what we grew up with was, if what we grew up with was chaos, and there was just chaos in the environment, there was unpredictability and everything, we're going to seek that because that's familiar to us. And so when we no longer find it where we used to find it, we seek other places. It's all over social media. I'm not here to say that social media is not a good thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. But whenever I log on to social media, there is chaos and unpredictability because you don't know what you're going to see when you log on to social media. There are a million different themes happening all at the same time. And I noticed that parallels this idea of the familiarity of being raised in chaos and unpredictability. And I'm just noticing these different things, and I'm just bringing my awareness and my energy back to myself, and, like actually sitting with myself, by myself, with no technology. I've been more productive over the past few days than I think I ever have in my life. And I'm just excited to continue living this way. It's going to be very interesting. So, yeah.